Namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudire nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavate uttama shlokir bhaktir bhavati naistaki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopakumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, we are continuing our study of Bhakti Vaibhav, third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 21. The Kardamuni's prayers to Supreme Lord in this section, verse 13 to 22, we are starting verse number 16. Kardamuni, the son of Brahma, was ordered by Brahma to act as a Prajapati for procreation, for begetting children to increase the population. But before acting as a Prajapati, he underwent the severe austerities to please the Supreme Lord at the bank of river Saraswati. And he pleased the Supreme Lord. And by his practice of yoga, because it was Satya Yuga, in the era of Swayambhu, so his perfection of yoga was in samadhi, which is self-realization. He had a real darshan of the Supreme Lord with four hands, having the symbols in forehand with crown and earrings and clothing and beautiful smile. And that was real darshan, not imaginary. And therefore, Kardam Muni offered his prayer to the Supreme Lord. And the theme of his prayer is, if we actually render devotional service to the Lord, we should not ask anything from Lord in return except the service itself. But since there are people who are under the influence of Maya, external energy of the Supreme Lord, though they worship the Lord, but they want some material benedictions. And Lord is so merciful that he even fulfilled the material benedictions of the conditioned souls in order that in future they may rectify and their heart may purify and they may practice devotional service. And the chance given to them to get out of this material world and attain the eternal blissful life in the spiritual world. So Kardam is saying that since I also have a material desire, I need a wife, I have to increase population because I am ordered by Brahma. So what we discussed in the previous verse, the nose in the rope in the nose, that is Vedic injection. Throughout the purport, it is very clear, it is the Vedic rules and regulation injection, which are given by Brahma. So this rope is given by Brahma. Brahma gives this rope because he is the Acharya of Veda. So now we are reading the verse number 16. 16, 17? 17. I think we have read the purport of this verse also. No? No. We are in translation. Okay. Prajapatiste vachasa adhishatantaya Lokaha kilayam kama hato anubaddha aham cha loka anugato vahami balim cha shukala animishaya tobhyam. This Shukal word is coming in your mind somewhere. Shukal. Shuklam Bhardaram Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturvedam. So Shukal is for Vishnu, which means all-powerful Lord and who give benedictions. Shukal is Vishnu, right? And Shukal means white actually. So, my Lord, you are the master and leader of all living entities. Under your direction, all conditioned soul, as if bound by the ropes, which means Vedic injection given by Brahma, are constantly engaged in satisfying their desires. Following them, O embodiment of religion, I also bear oblation for you. Means when I get married, then I will also follow the rules and regulations of Vedic literature and offer you sacrifice and oblation to you who are an eternal time. Animesha means eternal time. So, O Lord, those controlled by material desires are bound by the ropes of instruction of Brahma. Say very straightforward. Rope is instruction of Brahma, which means Vedic injunctions. Your servant to create progeny, like Marichi and other previously also asked by Brahma to create, and they created. O Vishnu Shukla, following such people, I make an offering to you, because I will also have the family, and then I will also perform yajna and offer you oblation, and you are also the form of time. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport first from Katha Upanishad is explaining Lord is master of all living entities. And he is not only the master, but he is sustainer and awarder of all their necessities and desires. Nityo nityanam chetas chetanam eko bahunam vidhati kaman. Can you see? He fulfills everybody's desire. He is master, he is sustainer. This may be other words, but there also vidhati kaman means he fulfills all desires. He is sustainer. No living entity is independent. All are dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Vedic instruction is that one should enjoy life under the direction of the Supreme Leader, the personality of Godhead. And same thing is in Isha Upanishad. Isha Vasha Idam verse is now there. You only take your share, okay? The best program for every living entity is to take direction from Supreme Lord and enjoy the material and spiritual life. So a question may be raised, since Kardam Muni was advanced in his spiritual life, he was a perfect yogi, why then did he not ask the Lord for liberation? Why did he want to enjoy material life in spite of his personally seeing and experience the Supreme Lord? He experienced Supreme Lord. Why he is not asking for liberation? Why did he want to enjoy the material life in spite of his personally seeing and experience the Supreme Lord? The answer is that not everyone is competent to be liberated from material bondage. It is everyone's duty, therefore, to enjoy according to his present position, but under the direction of the Lord or the Vedas. Because Kardam was asked by Brahma to increase population, therefore he wanted to act according to the given situation. And he wanted to satisfy Brahma because he was his father and personal authority. So Vedas are considered to be the direct words of the Lord, and the Lord gives us the opportunity to enjoy material life as we want, and at the same time he gives the direction for the modes and process of abiding by the Vedas, and that gradually one may be elevated to liberation and from material bondage. The conditioned souls who have come to this material world to fulfill their desires to lord it over the material nature are bound by the laws of nature. The best course is to abide by the Vedic liberation. Kardamuni addressed the Lord as Shukla, which means the leader of the religion. The Vishnu. One who is pious should follow the rules of religion, for such rules are prescribed by the Lord himself. No one can manufacture or concoct religion. Religion is referred to injection or law of the Lord. Dharmatu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. In Bhagavad Gita, that religion is sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam varja saranam varja. The religion is to surrender to the Supreme Lord. So, one should live a life of piety, following the religious rules and regulation, marry and live peacefully for elevation to the higher stages of spiritual realization. Chakravarti Pad writes, if that is so, use your intelligence. Why do you worship without desires? Persons such as Marichi are bound by the ropes of instruction of Brahma, Prajapati, your servant Te, to create progeny. And Brahma speak only according to your instruction. Brahma having created the population along with the sacred Bhagavad Gita, Sayagnaha Pravovacha Prajapati Anena Praswadam Ishvaista Kamadhuka. So Brahma has no fault. He only echoes your words. Let the materialistic people are bound up. Why don't you overcome those desires like Kumaras? Why? Kardam, you act like a Kumara. Why you're acting as a Grasta? My intelligence follows the common people. I cannot be like Narad and others. Like bull, I am bound by the ropes and carry an offering to you. I follow your order concerning materialist life. This means I desire a wife. The word Cha indicate I also will perform bhakti in order to attain you. O Vishnu, I make an offering to please you, the form of the time. Next verse. The connection is, but why do you criticize others' material desires? What fame and happiness do the detached devotee have? Giving sorrow to their fathers. Lokam cha lokanugatam pashom cha hitvaha shritaste charanapata patram parasparam tvadagunavada siddho piyushaha niryapita deha dharmaha Tvada gunavada siddhu piyusha means tvada, yours, guna, good characters, vad, one who glorifies, siddhu piyusha, they are like a nectar. So, however, persons who have given up stereotype worldly affairs and beastly followers of these affairs, and who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet. Umbrella, the word for umbrella is atapatram. Atapatra. Patra, which umbrella, what is the word in Sanskrit? Atapatram. And normal Hindi, chhata. Chhata means one who protects you from kshati. Kshati पहुंचाने से बचाने वाला. धूप से और पानी से बचाता है तो क्षति नहीं हो. तो क्षत्रि शब्द, छाता शब्द एक जगह से निकला हुआ है. एक क्षत्रि बेचने वाला कह रहा था, इसको पानी और धूप से बचाओगे तो 10 साल चल जाएगी. ये गारंटी है. तो लेके क्या करेंगे? धूप में नहीं ले जाना, पानी बरसात में नहीं ले जाना, छात्री 10 साल चल जाएगी. The need of the umbrella is to protect yourself from the heat and water. So छाता के लिए शब्द है आतपत्र. और यहाँ भगवान के चरण कमल आतपत्र हैं. पहले बोट थे, अब छाता है. However, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and are beastly followers of these affairs, and who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lower studies and activities and discussion with one another, can be freed from primary necessities of material body. Primary necessities of material body: eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. Disregarding the materialists and their followers who are like animals, leave them. Persons who take shelter of the umbrella of your lowest feet become free from bodily affliction by mutually discussing topics concerning your qualities, which are sweet and intoxicating. Shiddhu Piyusha. Piyusha means nectar, and Siddhu is intoxicating. Purport. After describing the necessity of married life, Kardam Muni asserts that marriage and other social affairs are stereotyped regulation for persons who are addicted to material sense enjoyment. The principle of animal life, that is eating, sleeping, mating, defending, are actually necessities of the body. But those who engage in transcendental Krishna consciousness, giving up all these stereotype activities of this material world, are freed from social conventions. Conditioned soul are under the spell of material energy or eternal time. Material energy or eternal time, past, present, future. But as soon as he engages in Krishna consciousness, he transcends the limits of the past, present, and future. Is situated in the eternal activities of the soul. One has to act in terms of Vedic injection in order to enjoy material life, but those who have taken to the devotional service of the Lord are not afraid of the regulations of this material world. Such devotees do not care for the convention of material activities. They boldly take to that shelter which is like an umbrella against the sun of repeated birth and death. So there are two types of grastas. The one type is only interested in sex enjoyment and sense enjoyment. The others, they also practice devotional service and are beyond the bodily concept of life. So the second, constant transmigration of the soul from one body to another is the cause of suffering in material existence. This conditioned life is in the material existence called sansara. And then Srila Prabhupada says, sansara dava nala leda loka. So there's only way to extinguish this fire is mercy of the cloud. And cloud is the spiritual master. When the cloud like a spiritual master shower the mercy, then only this blazing fire of material world can be extinguished. So this is the section, constant downpour, and the spiritual master is that mercy. Now next, going down. When the rain of Krishna consciousness fall, can the fire of material existence be extinguished? This is also explained here. In order to find freedom from the stereotype condition of the material existence, one has to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord, not in the manner in which the impersonals indulge, but in devotional service, chanting and hearing of the activities of Lord. Now, it is recommended here that one should give up the conditioned life of material world and the association of the so-called civilized human beings who are simply following in the polished way the same stereotype principle of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Chanting, hearing of the glories of Lord is described here as Tvada Guna Vada Siddhu. Only by drinking nectar of chanting and hearing the pastime of Lord can one forget the intoxication of material existence. So, Chakravarti Pad writes, the fathers, their sons, and brothers who follow their instruction gain fame and happiness from following material dharma. Why do you criticize their material desires? What fame and happiness do the detached devotees have given sorrow to their fathers, to which they praise them, to which you praise them? Two verses respond, because the materialists are like animals. There's no fault in rejecting them. Our Lokan can also refer to those well versed in logic and Mimamsa philosophy. And their followers are those who are not well versed in scriptures, who follow then instruction with faith. Both are like animals because they lay the umbrella of your Lord's feet. Those who are animals and do not take shelter must burn up in the heat of material existence. And those who take shelter and have unlimited happiness by drinking topics concerning your qualities, which are nectar, since they are sweet and destroy death, and which are wine, because they make them forget material existence, intoxicating. They destroy the qualities of material body consisting of infancy, boyhood and other ages, always hunger, thirst and other cravings. So, the bodily dharma is, what is the bodily dharma? Eating. And then what are the other? Right now? Hunger, thirst, this is coming, eating and all this. These are bodily dharma. Those who are hearing the topic of Krishna, they are above these bodily dharma. They use this just to maintain the body and soul together, but not for sense gratification. Any example in which somebody is hearing Krishna Katha and he forgot? Parikshit Maharaj. For 7 days he was hearing Krishna Katha from Sukdev and was not thinking of drinking water or eating. So, this nectar of Krishna Katha, one who relish that and take shelter of the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, which is umbrella, which gives immortality as well as indifference to the bodily needs. So Kardam Muni is in that category of the Grasta, which are interested in Krishna Katha. Verse 18. Nate ajarakshaha bhramirayu eshan triyo dasharam trishatam sashti parava shannemi ananta chaddi yatatri nabhi karala shroto jagata chadya dhava. Basically, this is the time. So this time is not going to influence the devotees. It takes away the life of the materialist, but is not touching the devotees. So this purport by Chakravarti Padis say, devotees and not others conquer time. Devotees conquer time, others cannot. Parikshit conquered time, Kali Yuga, yes, he conquered Kali Yuga himself personally. So devotees conquer time, example is Parikshit. Dhruva Maharaj put a feet on the head of a cow and climb on the aeroplane. So devotees can conquer time. What is time? The wheel of time, Trainabi, pursues and destroys the universe, but it does not pursue and destroy the life of a devotee. This wheel rotates, Brahmi, on the axle of instruction of Brahma. Ajara Brahma Aksha. Axle is Brahma. It is said to be a wheel in a metaphysical sense because of its explicit rotatory motions. It has 13 spokes composed of 12 months plus 1 Adhik Mas, Purushottam Mas. It has 360 joints composed of days and nights of the year. Lack of proper ending on 3 Shatam. Okay. It has wheel rim in the form of 6 seasons, 2 months each season. It has unlimited edges in the form of seconds. It has 3 groups of 4 months, Chaturmasya, as the nave of the wheel. It travels with great speed. These descriptive terms are used to portray the wheel of time consisting of a year. So this time destroys everybody except devotees. So rising sun and setting sun take away the life of everybody except devotees. So another verse is like that. Ayur Harati. This is the verse. So same thing Srila Prabhupada is written here. Prabhupada has written something like that. See here. In Bhagavad Gita it said that only his appearance and disappearance can one stop the cycle of birth and go back to harm. So this is the Janma Karam Cha Me Devam Evam Jyotiveti Tatvata. And in the execution of devotional service save, what is this verse? Neha bikaram nasho asti pratyayana vidyate swalpamasya dharmasya tirate. The rest of the verse is same, the time. Now verse number 19. Eka swayam san jagatas srikshaya dvaityaya ataman adhi yoga mayaya srajasya adhapashi punaha grasasya se yatha urana nabhi bhagavan swaha shakti urani nabhi, anybody knows? Spider who creates and then destroys. So Supreme Lord created, but is not bound by that. He also so this is the example. Supreme Lord created this material world and also destroys, not affected by that. My dear Lord, you alone create the universe through your external energy. O personality of Godhead, desiring to create these universes, you create them, maintain them, and again wind them up by your own energies, which are under the control of your second energy called Yoga Maya. Just as the spider creates a cobweb by its own energy and again wind it up. So, Srila Prabhupada's purport is, in this verse, two important words nullify the impersonalist theory that everything is God. Here Kardam says, O personality of Godhead, you are alone, but you have various energies. The example of the spider is very significant also. The spider is an individual, living entity, and by its energy it creates a cobweb and plays on it, and whenever it likes, it winds up the cobweb, thus ending the play. When the cobweb is manufactured by the saliva of the spider does not become impersonal. Similarly, creation and manifestation of material and spiritual energy does not render creator impersonal. Here, the very prayer suggests that God is sentient, means a person, and can hear the prayers and fulfill the desires of the devotees. Therefore, Satchidananda Vigraha, the form of the bliss knowledge. And so the point is, Lord only creates, maintain, and again withdraw everything like a spider. Nobody else can do this. So this defeats the impersonal philosophy. How this defeats the impersonal philosophy? You have to answer this. Spider, cobweb, then spider never disappears. It will never become cobweb. So God creates it, he doesn't lose his identity. That is the way defeat impersonalism in this verse. You say the devotees are fortunate, but that you cannot be free of desire. Why do you not fulfill your desire by worshipping devatas who quickly fulfill those desires? Lord tells Sukadam. But I do not see anyone except you in this universe. That is stated in this verse. You alone exist. It is your desire alone to create, since there is no one else. Advaitya. Atiyaya. It is your desire to create which becomes Brahma's desire. You alone permit him. You perform creation by your Maya, which attend you, Adhi, Atma, by contact, Yoga, with your glands. Your yoga maya means this material energy, which means mahat tattva. When you glance on that, which means yoga, it is start creation. So there's another meaning of yoga maya. Can you see the another meaning of yoga maya? Maya and yoga. Material energy maya, and yoga is a contact with the glance of Supreme Lord, is yoga maya. You create the universe other by your material gunas, which you accepted through the influence of your spiritual energy, yoga maya, under your control. The example of the spider is given to show that no one except Lord perform creation. It should serve you alone, even if I have material desires, since no devatas exist except you. So why don't you go and pray to the demigods? No, only you. You create demigod and everything. So why I should go to secondary creator? Why not to the first one? Next verse, verse 20. Naitad badadhisha padam tavepi sittam yanamaya nastanushe bhuta sukshamam anugrahayatasva api yarai mayaya lasata tulsiya bhagavan vilakshitah. My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, you manifest this creation of grass and subtle elements just by for our sensual satisfaction. Let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared before us in your eternal form, adorned with a splendid wreath of tulsi leaves. O Lord, you bestow material benefit to us because of our maya. Even though you do not desire to do so, let the benediction be given in order that you show us mercy by saving us from them. For at that time we will see your spiritual form endowed with shining tulsi. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is clearly stated here that the material world is not created by the personal will of the Supreme Lord. It is created by the external energy because the living entity wants to enjoy it. So material world is created by material energy for the conditioned soul because they want to enjoy. It's not the desire of the Supreme Lord. This material world is not created for those who do not want to enjoy sense gratification, who constantly remain in transcendental loving service, and who are eternally Krishna conscious. This is not for them. For them, the spiritual world is eternally existing, and they enjoy there. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavad, it stated that for those who have taken shelter of lotus feet of Supreme Personal Godhead, this material world is useless, because this material world is full of danger at every step. Padam padam vipadam. It is not meant for the devotees, but for the living entities who want to lord it over material nature at their own risk. Krishna is so kind that he allows the sense enjoying living entities a separate world created by him to enjoy as they like. Yet at the same time he appears in his personal form. The Lord unwillingly created this material world, but he descends in his personal form, or send one of his reliable sons or servants, a reliable author like Vyasadeva, to give instruction. Is there some verse? Chaitanya Chaitamrita something? Krishna helped the conditioned soul by three ways. By himself personally as coming as a super soul, by sending Vyasadeva as a Vedic literature, and by sending his representative. By three ways, Supreme Lord helped the conditioned soul to go back home, back to Godhead. Maya mugd jivera nahi swat Krishna gyan, Krishna kripa kila diya ved pran. This is one verse. There is another similar verse. In 3 ways, Krishna helped the conditioned soul. What are 3? Here are 3 ways. Himself, Vedvyas, and saintly people as representative, are sons. Prabhupada wrote son because son is in the Christianity and messenger in Islam. And similarly, also sometime he, third one is, give his instruction as a Vedvyas. What do you think as a Prabhupada giving us the Vedic literature now? Whole world. Prabhupada is a representative of Supreme Lord. He has given a literature also. So he helps us like that. So how many people? So many people are becoming Krishna consciousness because of Prabhupada's literature. It is so simple. So he himself also instructed. Right. He himself also instructed in his speeches of Bhagavad Gita. This propaganda work goes on side by side with creation to convince the misguided living entities who are rotting in this material world to come back home back and surrender unto him. Therefore, the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita give up Sarvadharman Parityaja. Okay? Chakravarti Pad writes, if that is true, then by my mercy, may you have the greatest wife, sons, enjoyment, and wealth. In 2 verses, he gives evidence that the Lord gives benediction. O Lord, you do not desire to give these desired things to me, since you think of welfare of your devotees. This is understood from the Lord's words. One who knows the highest good will never instruct a foolish person to engage in material enjoyment. Just as an experienced physician gives his patient eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires. Then can you chant some words from Chaitanya Charitamrita? This verse, how is that? अमृत छाड़ी विश्व मांगे ए बड़ो मूर्ख अमी विज्ञा कीबे दिवा. So this is what this verse. I mean, when Prabhupada is writing, these all things are, that's what you have to learn actually from the purport. So if you go to the Supreme Lord, even you ask material things, why should he give the material things? Why the physician gives you the diet which is injurious to your health? A good physician will never do so. How can Lord does this? Then why do I give those things? Lord says to Kardam. If you give material pleasure to us, that is because of our Maya. The ignorant devotee will otherwise be disappointed. Because I ask, you give. The material happiness resides in the mind, already in the form of vasanas. What is vasanas? Impressions. You extend that happiness by giving benediction. That is the implication of the verb tan. If that is so, then should I give anything? Let it be given, but only for gaining your mercy. Oh, the devotee has fallen into the darkness of the material world by the happiness I have given him. I will deliver him. Let it given to the purpose of gaining your mercy. When at the time of giving benediction you are noticed by your mercy, you become visible with your glance of mercy, indicating your smile. Your spiritual body is endowed with shining tulsi, which give you great pleasure during worship by the devotees. This form worshipped by the devotee is not material. Showing this spiritual form is the Lord's mercy. So the whole idea is, Kardam Muni wants, his desire is to enter and grasp the life. And this is in accordance to the order of Brahma. So he's not at a fault. So he's asking something, this from the Supreme Lord. Tvam ha tam tvanubhutayo uparattaha kiryaratham Swamayaya varati talokatantram Namamya abhikshanam namaniya pada Sarojam alapiyasi kama varasham. I continuously offer my respectful obeisance unto your lotus feet, of which it is worthy to take shelter, because you shower all benediction on the insignificant, to give all living entities detachment from fruitive activities by realizing you have expanded these material worlds by your own energy. Lord, O Lord, I offer repeated respect to you, who destroy the desire to enjoy by giving realization of your sweetness, who cover us with the result of karma through the inspiration of your material maya, who give material benediction to low person such as me, and whose lotus feet are worthy of worship. Srila Prabhupada writes, everyone therefore, whether he desire material enjoyment, what is this? Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi. This is the verse, okay? In Bhagavad Gita, Lord affirms, ye yathamam prapadyante. So it's all normal, you know. For material enjoyment, he has prescribed so many ritualistic sacrifice performed in Vedas. And thus people may take advantage of those instructions and enjoy material life in higher planets or in a noble aristocratic family. These processes are mentioned in the Vedas, and one can take advantage of them. It is similar with those who wants to liberate from this material world. Now this is important line. Unless one is disgusted with the enjoyment of material world, he cannot aspire for liberation. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes actually. He says, until and unless one is frustrated in this material world from all efforts and endeavors for enjoyment, then only seriously he takes to Krishna consciousness. So, unless one is disgusted with the enjoyment of this material world, he cannot aspire for liberation. Liberation is for one who is disgusted with material enjoyment. Vedanta Sutra says, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Vedanta Sutra is available as a Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita is also Vedanta Sutra. Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita is also Vedanta Sutra. But Arjuna is asking about Kim Brahma, Kim Tad Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam. This is Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Jigyasa, right? So Bhagavad Gita is also Vedanta Sutra. By understanding Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, one can obtain real knowledge. When one obtains the real knowledge, he becomes theoretically one with the Supreme. And when he actually begins the service of the Brahma or Krishna consciousness, he is not only liberated but situated in his spiritual life. So first thing is Sambandha Gyan from the scripture. Then he practiced that Abhideya. Then he is situated in his spiritual position, which means Prayojan. So this is actually, if you see these words, can you see these three things here? Now I'm reading again, you try to see this. When one actually begins the service to the Krishna or Brahma, that is Abhideya. And when he actually begins the service, he is not only liberated but situated in his spiritual life, which means Jiva Sarup Krishna Nitya Das is still that. Similarly, for those who want to lord over material nature, there are so many departments of material enjoyment. Material knowledge and material science are available, and the Lord provides for a person who wants to enjoy them. The conclusion is that one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead or for any benediction. The word Kam Varsham is very significant for indicate that he satisfies the desires of anyone who approach him. But one who sincerely loves Krishna and yet wants material enjoyment is in perplexity, confusion. Krishna, being very kind towards him, gives him an opportunity to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And so he gradually forgets the hallucination of material enjoyment. So again the same verse, Chaitanya Chaitamrita. Amrit chhadi vishya mange. Which means sense enjoyment, vishya bhog. Chakravarti Pad writes, this is not impossible for you. When by mercy you give realization of your sweetness, the desire to enjoy automatically ceases. You have a covering of happiness and distress produced from the karma for all beings, which is caused by the order of your material maya. As long as you dissipate ignorance, the desire to enjoy remains. Desiring to increase the population, you fill us with the material desires. Though we know this, we cannot give up our desires. Thus we are in low position. You bestow desire to persons such as me who are very low. Alapyasi. Last verse of this section. Rishir vacha iti avalikam pronoto avajjanabha tam abhashe vacha samirtena suparnaha pakshau parirochamanaha prema smita udavikshanaha vibharam dabhruho. So, Suparna Pakshayo Garuda. The Suparna is Garuda. So now, Maitreya resumed, sincerely extolled in these words Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulder of the Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with smile full of affection. So, Prabhupada's purport is on this one word. What is that? This is the word Vachasa. What Vachasa? Amrit Vachasa. Vachasa Amritena. The words of Lord are always transcendental. So here is the purport. The word Vachasa Amritena is significant. Whenever the Lord speaks, he speaks from the transcendental world. He does not speak from material world. Since he is transcendental, his speech is also transcendental. As is his activity, everything in a relation to him is transcendental. The word Amrit refers to one who does not meet with death. The words and activities of Lord are deathless. Therefore, they are not manufactured of this material world. The sound of this material world and that of the spiritual world are completely different. The sound of the spiritual world is nectarian, eternal, whereas the sound of this material world is hackneyed and subject to end. The sound of the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, everlastingly increases the enthusiasm of the chanter. If one repeats monotonous material words, he will feel exhausted. But if he chant Hare Krishna 24 hours a day, he will never feel exhausted. Rather, he will feel encouraged to continue chanting more and more. ये सही है? एक रिसर्च की थी गोविंद दास ने, PhD की थी, chanting Hare Krishna for half an hour and chanting Coca-Cola half an hour. Then he Analyze the result. Those who chanted Hare Krishna, if they were in mode of patience, they came to mode of goodness. If they were in ignorance, they came to the patient. So there was a result. But those who were chanting Coca-Cola, they remained as they were. So there is difference. He proved that there is a difference. By chanting Hare Krishna, there is a transformation in a consciousness of a person. When the Lord replied to the sage Kardam, the word Vatsa Amarten is specially mentioned since he spoke from transcendental world. He replied in transcendental words, and when he spoke, his eyebrows moved with a great affection. When a devotee praises the glories of the Lord is very satisfied, and he bestows his transcendental benediction upon the devotee without reservation, because he is always causelessly merciful to his devotees. Nishkapatam means sincere, okay? Now the next section 23 to 32. Lord spoke to Kardam. The verse 23 to 29, Lord fulfilled the desire of Kardam for suitable wife. And the last three verses, he will give some other instruction. So, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Viditva tava chaityam me puravaiva samayojitat yadarthamatmanyamai tvayevaham samarachitaha. Now Lord says, I know. He says, Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, Cheta, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory disciplines. So how Lord knows about the mind of Kardam Muni? As a Paramatma, yes. That is in the purport, as a Paramatma, because he is in the heart of every living entities, and he smells like if the flower is near you, you don't touch, but you can have the fragrance of the smile. So whatever desire we have, Paramatma also knows this. This is the mechanism. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada's purport is, it is the super soul as a Krishna, as super soul knew the desire of Kardam Muni. And Bhagavad Gita says, I am sitting in everybody's house. So this is the answer. Chaitam means what is produced in your heart. It is found on the model of world like, okay, it is accomplished by me since you are worshipped alone. So Lord knew the desire of, anywhere else Lord has said, I know the desire of so and so. When Brahma prayed at the milk ocean for the trouble of the Mother Earth, then Lord said, I know the trouble of earth. I already know her trouble, so I will appear. So Lord knows everybody's problem. Verse number 24. Na vai jato mrishaiva syat praja adhyaksha mada aharanam bhavadda videshva atitaram mai sangrabhitatmanam. The Lord continued, my dear Rishi, a leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially person like you, who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. Any other verse like that in your mind? 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Nato namotra vinashastasya vidyate kalyana krita kaschit. Anybody who does good, he never ends up in frustration. Always he gets result. Huh? Then the two unsuccessful yogis, what they will get, the next verse will come like that, right? So similarly, those who worship me, how can they will be deprived from their desired goal? Director of progeny. Who is director of progeny? Kardam. Kardam. The worship of persons such as you, who fully concentrate on me in their heart, is never fruitless. Somebody should read. Even if
he has some desires, one engaged in the service of the Lord is never frustrated. Those engaged in his service are called Sakama and Akama. Those who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead with desires for material enjoyment are called Sakama, and those devotees who have no material desires for sense gratification but serve the Supreme Lord out of spontaneous love for Him are called Akama. Sakama devotees are divided into four classes: those in distress, those in need of money, the inquisitive, and the wise. Someone worships the Supreme Lord because of bodily and mental distress or mental distress. Someone else worships the Supreme Lord because he is in need of money. Someone else worships the
I think
Lord.
it's what is you understood this what is Chaturvida Bhajate Mam, right? Are they pure devotees?
No.
They are not Uttam Bhakta, but they have pious credits, and they can only become Uttam Bhakta by
Devotion, touch of
mercy of a devotee or Supreme Lord. Okay. Chakravarti Pad writes, fulfilling your desire will not reduce your worship of me. Rather, you will attain me. Please take courage. The Lord certainly gives desired object to devotees who request them, but He does not give in such a way that the devotee will ask again after finishing his enjoyment. He gives His lotus feet, which include all desirables, to those worshippers who do not desire them. 5:19-26. Worshipping me will never be without good result. In the end, I will bestow my abode. Such worship among those devotees who have absorbed their minds in me, Sangha Abhitatmanam, such as you, certainly will give result. Grahita and have the same meaning. Okay, next verse. Verse 25. Prajapati Sutta Samran Manora Vikhyata Mangala Brahmavartam Yo Adhivasan Sasti Saptaranavam Mahim. The Emperor Swambhu Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous act, has his seat in Brahmavarta and rules over the earth with its 7 oceans. Sometimes it's said that Brahmavarta is a part of Kurukshetra. Prabhupada is giving geographical some knowledge. Sometimes it is said that Brahmavarta is part of Kurukshetra, or that Kurukshetra itself is situated in Brahmavarta. Because the demigods are recommended to perform a spiritual, ritualistic performance in Kurukshetra. But in others' opinion, Brahmavarta is a place in Brahmalok, where Swambhu Manu ruled. There are many places on the surface of this earth which are also known as higher planetary system. We have places on the planet like Vrindavan, Dwarka, Mathura, but they are also eternally situated in Krishna Lok. There are many similar names on the surface of the earth, and it may be that in the Boar age, Swambhu Manu, Boar age means Varakalpa. Swayambhu Manu ruled this planet as stated here. The word Mangalaha is significant. Mangal means one who is elevated in every respect in the opulences of the religious performance, ruling power, cleanliness, and all other good qualities. Vikhyata means celebrated. Swayambhu Manu was celebrated for all good qualities and opulences. So, आपका क्या विचार है? कहाँ है ब्रह्मावर्त? Sometime Brahmavarth is called between the Jamuna and between the two rivers Ganga and Yamuna. That belt is called Brahmavarth. And like the where did Rishabdev took his 100 sons to instruct? Brahmavarth also. हाँ कहाँ ले गया था ऋषभदेव अपने 100 बच्चों को शिक्षा देने के लिए? हाँ देख लेना 5वें स्कंद में ब्रह्मावर्त गया था. कभी कभी कुछ लोग कहते हैं ब्रह्मावर्त बिठूर है जो कानपुर के पास है. प्रभुपाद यहाँ लिखते हैं कुरुक्षेत्र है और फिर कहते हैं ब्रह्मावर्त जहाँ ब्रह्मा रहता है वो ब्रह्मावर्त है. और फिर प्रभुपाद कहते हैं नीचे भी हो सकता है ऊपर भी हो सकता है. जैसे वृंदावन भगवान के धाम में नीचे भी हो सकता है तो यहाँ भी कुछ ब्रह्मावर्त हो सकता है, कुछ ब्रह्मावर्त वहाँ हो सकता है. नहीं जब पृथ्वी पानी में थी तो हिरण्याकश और हिरण्याकशिपु तो ऊपर देवलोक में जन्म हुआ था ना, यहाँ तो नहीं थे. यहाँ तो द्वितीय आदित्य कश्यप यहाँ नहीं थे, यहाँ धरती नहीं तो कहाँ से आएंगे? वो तो कहीं और से ही आए थे. तो मनु भी तो ऊपर ही था. वो तो ये तो बट प्रभुपाद इज सेइंग दैट जो ऊपर के लोकों में है वो नीचे के लोकों में भी हो सकता है. सो देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम. ओके, वर्स नंबर 26. सचेह विप्रहराज ऋषि महेयसे सत्यरूपया आयासति ददृक्षसो त्वां परशवो धर्म को विदः. Day after tomorrow, O Brahman, that celebrated emperor who is the expert in religious activities will come here with his queen Shatrupa wishing to see you. उसके साथ देवहूति को भी लाएगा, ये नहीं लिखा है क्योंकि ब्रह्मचारियों के लिए नहीं पढ़ना चाहिए, इसलिए आगे लिखा होगा. ओके. आत्मजम आतीता पंगिम वयः शील गुणान्विताम् मृग्यन्तिं पतिं दास्यत्य अनुरूपायते प्रभो. He has a grown-up daughter whose eyes are black. She is ready for marriage and she has good character and all good qualities. She is also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you, who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver their daughter as your wife. तो भगवान करदम की शादी का प्रबंध कर रहे हैं. Okay? Now Prabhupada says, selection of the good husband for a good girl was always entrusted to the parents. Here it is clearly stated that Manu and his wife were coming to see Kardam Muni to offer their daughter because the daughter was well qualified and the parents were searching out a similarly qualified man. This is the duty of parents. Girls are never thrown into the public street to search out their husband. For when the girls are grown up and are searching after boys, they forgot to consider whether the boy they select is actually suitable for them. Out of the urge of the sex desire, a girl may accept anyone, but if the husband is chosen by the parents, they can consider who is to be selected and who is not. According to the Vedic system, therefore the girl is given over to a suitable boy by parents. She is never allowed to select her own husband independently. तो what about Swayamvar? The girls have right to also select their own husband, but in the presence of their parents, not in a streets or garden. Okay? Next verse. Samahitam te hridyam yatare mana parivatsaran satvam brahman nirpaha vaduho kamamashuho bhajishyati. That princess or holy sage will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart. For all these long years, she will soon be yours, and you will serve you and will serve you to your heart's content. All right. The Lord awards all benediction according to the heart's desire of devotees. So the Lord informed Karna Muni, the girl who is coming to be married with you is a princess, the daughter of the Emperor Sarvabhouma, and so just suitable for your purpose. Only by God's grace can one get a nice wife just as he desires. Similarly, it is only by God's grace that a girl gets a husband suitable for her heart. Thus, it is said that if we pray to the Supreme Lord in every transaction of our material existence, everything will be done very nicely, just suitable to our heart's desire. In other words, in all circumstances, we must take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead and depend completely on His decision. Man proposes, God disposes. The fulfillment of desire, therefore, should be entrusted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the nicest solution. Karna Muni desired only a wife, but because he was a devotee of the Lord selected a wife for him, who was the emperor's daughter, a princess. Thus Karna Muni got a wife beyond his expectation. If we depend on the choice of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will receive benediction and greater opulence than we desire. क्या समझ में आया? भगवान किसी के लिए कोई चूज करेगा तो वो अपने स्टैंडर्ड का चूज करेगा, हमारे स्टैंडर्ड का नहीं करेगा. यू अंडरस्टैंड? एक गरीब माता जी थी, दी ओल्ड लेडी, उसकी एक बच्ची थी, उसकी शादी करानी थी, पैसा नहीं था, तो किसी सेठ को कहा शादी करानी है, तो सेठ ने कहा ठीक है शादी मैं करा दूंगा. अब सेठ शादी कराए तो सेठ के स्टैंडर्ड से कराएगा ना, वो तो उसके स्टैंडर्ड नहीं कराएगा, उसको तो अपने फ्रेंड्स को बुलाना है. तो उसने बहुत बड़ा प्रोग्राम किया, बोला इतना मैं तो नहीं कर, तुम थोड़ी कर रही हो, तो सेठ कर रहा है तो सेठ के स्टैंडर्ड से करेगा, तो भगवान कर रहा है तो भगवान के स्टैंडर्ड से करेगा. तो इसलिए काम कोई भी करना है तो भगवान को प्रार्थना करो तो भगवान के स्टैंडर्ड का होगा. आपके तो इसका मतलब प्रार्थना करने में भी बुद्धिमानी होनी चाहिए. भगवान आपको जो अच्छा लगे वो करना, तो भगवान तो अच्छा ही सोचेगा ना. आपको जो अच्छा लगता है वो तो छोटा होगा, आपको तो देख नहीं सकते फ्यूचर को. तो इसमें बहुत बड़ी बात ये है, वाकई कहा देखा जाए कि ये मैरिज भगवान ने, इसका मैरिज भगवान ने किया, प्रचेता का मैरिज भी भगवान ने अरेंजमेंट किया, चंद्रमा को भेज दिया. शंकर जी और पार्वती का मैरिज विष्णु ने कन्यादान किया. तो ये पुराने जितने भी मैरिज है ये भगवान जो करते हैं वो चल जाता है. अब हमारे पास भी इस्कॉन में कभी कभी तो लड़के लड़कियां जो डिसाइबल बढ़ जाती हैं तो फिर गुरुजी उनकी शादी कराने की जिम्मेवारी उठानी पड़ती है उनको. तो कम से कम वो देख के कि भाई दोनों के लायक हैं तो कर देते हैं, फिर भी चल नहीं पाती हैं. ये समस्या है, हमने बहुत देखा है ऐसा. कौशल्या एक प्रभुपाद की डिसाइपल यहीं आई थी जब रीयूनियन हुई थी यहाँ 25 साल के बाद. मेरे कितने हो गए, 50 साल हो गए थे. हाँ 40 साल का रीयूनियन में हम आए थे यहाँ. तो कौशल्या आई थी प्रभुपाद की डिसाइपल, उस वक्त में 17-18 साल की थी. उसने कहा मैरिज इन इस्कॉन इज ए प्रेटी फेल्यूर. हमको पहले कहा इससे शादी करो, फिर कहा इससे शादी करो, 3-4 बार हमारी शादी उन्होंने घुमा घुमा के करा ली. अभी सुख से शादी किए बैठे हैं. सो द पॉइंट इज भगवान शादी कराता है तो गाड़ी चल जाती है. चली कहाँ इनकी भी गाड़ी, जैसे कर्दम मुनि को बेटा कपिल देव हुआ, कर्दम मुनि चला गया संन्यास लेके। तो भगवान वाली शादी में काम अच्छा होता है, लेकिन सारी उम्र परेशानी नहीं उठानी पड़ती। कदम क्यों चला गया, ये प्रश्न आप पूछ सकते हैं। भाई घर में बेटा भगवान आया, छोड़ के क्यों चला गया ना? क्या वैदिक रूल्स क्या है? बच्चा पैदा ही हुआ छोड़ के जाओ घर? कर्दम मुनि दास्य भक्त था। घर में बेटा आया तो वात्सल्य प्रेम उससे हो ही नहीं सकता था। तो हाउ ए पर्सन ऑफ दास्य कैन लिव विद द लॉर्ड विद ए वात्सल्य प्रेम? इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल। बेसिकली वात्सल्य प्रेम नहीं कर सकता था कर्दम, क्योंकि वो दास्य का भक्त था, इसलिए उसको जाने की आवश्यकता पड़ गई। वो रहेगा तो बेटे से प्यार करेगा, वो नहीं कर सकता। वो हाथ जोड़ के सारा दिन खड़ा रहेगा बच्चे को ही, तो वो नहीं हो सकता था। वो रस आभास हो जाता। वास्तव में ये है। नहीं तो घर में भगवान आए, उसको छोड़ के जाने का मतलब क्या? संन्यास लेता तो बड़ा होता उसके बाद ना। ये तो पैदा हुआ और जाना, रवाना हो गया, परिक्रमा किया और चला गया। हाँ, विदुरा भगवान कृष्ण है। जब तक कृष्ण रहे धरती पे, विदुर को 100 साल के लिए उसको शराब था, लेकिन वो 125 साल रह गया और ज्यादा रहा। जब तक कृष्ण रहा तब तक विदुर गया ही नहीं, एक्सटेंशन ले लिया। He left the palace because he वहाँ जहाँ कृष्ण का बात नहीं मानी जाए वहाँ नहीं रहना चाहिए। Because the Kauravas did not listen to proposal of Krishna, so इन्होंने कहा जो कृष्ण की नहीं मानता उनके साथ नहीं रहना। कितना भी ऑपुलेंस क्यों ना हो, लेकिन कृष्ण भक्त नहीं है, कृष्ण के द्वेषियों के साथ नहीं रहना है। विदुर का अपमान हुआ तो भगवान मिल गया। दुर्योधन ने अपमान किया और चला गया भगवान को ढूंढने के लिए। तो चलो जी, हम कहाँ पहुंचे देखिए, हमको लॉन्ग वे जाना है। ओके, इट इज ऑल्सो सिग्निफिकेंट नोटेड हियर दैट द कर्दम मुनि वाज ए ब्राह्मण, वेयर एज एम्परर स्वयंभू वाज ए क्षत्रिय। देयरफॉर intercaste marriages are current even in those days. Okay, a system was that the Brahman could marry the daughter of a Kshatri, but a Kshatri could not marry the daughter of a Brahman. Anulom or Vilom कहते हैं. These marriages are called Anulom and Vilom. Higher, lower is the Anulom, and the otherwise is the Vilom. The system was that the Brahman could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya, but a Kshatri could not marry the daughter of a Brahman. But the Kshatri married the daughter of Brahman. What is the example? Yayati married Devyani, daughter of Shukracharya. Why? Because Devani was cursed by the son of Brahaspati, Kach, that he will never get Brahman husband. So these are extraordinary examples. We have evidence from the history of the Vedic age that Shukracharya offered his daughter of Maharaj Jayati, but the king had to refuse to marry the daughter of Brahman. Only with the special permission of the Brahmans could they marry. Intercaste marriage, therefore, was not prohibited in the olden days, many millions of years ago, but there was a regular system of social behavior. Okay, verse number 29. Oh, we are just finishing. Yata atma bhratam viryam yarishya twadiyarishya adhasyanti anjasatmanaha. She will bring forth 9 daughters from the seed sown in her by you, and through the daughters you beget the sages will duly beget children. So Lord is saying 9 बच्चियां होंगी और उनके ऋषियों से शादी होगी, बड़े बच्चे हो जाएंगे. ओके, 3 verses more. Huh? Tvam cha samyag anushthaya Nidesham ustamah Mai tirthi krita sesha Kriyartho mam prapattasya. With your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruit of all your acts, you will finally attain to me. Mam prapatasyasi. Here the word tirtha, kirta, asesha, kriya, artha are significant. Tirth means sanctified place, where charity is given. People used to go to the place of pilgrimage and give munificently in charity. This system is still current. Therefore, the Lord says, in order to sanctify your activities and the result of your actions, you will offer everything to me. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, where whatever you do, yat karosi, yad asnasi, yad jahosi, dadasi, yata, yat tapasyasi kontra, tat kurushva, mad arpanam. In another place in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifice and all penance and everything done for the welfare of mankind or society. Bhoktaram yagatapasam. Profound Krishna consciousness. That is the instruction given by the Lord to Karda Muni. Maharaj Yudhishthir welcomed Narad Muni. Wherever you are present, that place becomes sanctified because the Lord himself is always seated in your heart. Similarly, if we act in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the Lord and is representative, then everything is sanctified. This is the indication given to Karda Muni, who acted on it and therefore received the most excellent wife and child, as will be disclosed in later verses. So what you get from this? Where the pure devotees are, that place becomes Tirath. Why? Because they have realized the Supreme Lord. Tirath kurvanti tirthani, what it means. Saintly people even purify the holy places. What is different between the Ganga and Sadhu? There is different.
Sadhu even purifies Ganga also.
After a long time Ganga purifies, but Sadhu immediately purifies. Ganga, you have to go there, but Sadhu can come to your home. So Sadhu is a great Tirath. Okay, 31. Kirtvadayam cha jivesho Dattva cha bhayamatmvan Mayatmanam sahajagat Drakshasi atmani chapimam. Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self as well as the universe in me and myself in you. So, most important is Jiva Daya. Mahaprabhu says, Jiva Daya, Name Ruchi, Vaishnava Seva. See Garapai? What's the next line? Jiva Daya. There is no other dharma better than that. So here also you should have a compassion on all living entities, and you can see the world, you can see your soul, and you can see me. Purport. You. Almost 3-page purport. My God. Okay, let's see what's there. The simple process of self-realization for every living entity is described here. What is that? First principle is to be understood that this world is product of Supreme Will. This world is product of Supreme Will. There is an identity of this world with the Supreme Lord. This identity is accepted as in a misconvinced way by the impersonalist. They said that supreme absolute truth, transforming himself into the universe, loses its separate existence. Thus, they accept the world and everything in it to be the Lord. That is pantheism, wherein everything is considered to be Lord. This is the view of impersonalists. But those who are personal devotees of the Lord take everything to be property of the Supreme Lord. Everything, whatever we see, is the manifestation of Supreme Lord. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of Lord. This is the oneness. Difference between the impersonalist and the personalist is that the impersonalist does not accept separate existence of the Lord, but the personal accept the Lord in the impersonal concept and personal concept of this world. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. I am spread all over the universe in my impersonal form. Everything is resting on me, but I am not present. There is a nice example regarding the sun and sunshine. The sun by its sunshine is spread all over the universe, and all the planets rest on the sunshine. But all the planets are different from the sun planet. One cannot say that because the planets are resting on sunshine, these planets are also sun. Similar, the impersonal or pantheist view that everything is God is not very intelligent proposal. The real position, as explained by the Lord himself, is that although nothing can exist without him, it is not a fact that everything is him. He is different from everything. So here also the Lord says, you will see everything in this world, in the world, to be non-different from me. This means that everything should be considered a product of Lord's energy, and therefore everything should be employed in the service of Lord. One's energy should be utilized for one's self-interest. That is the perfection of energy. Swartha gatim hi Vishnum. पढ़िए थोड़ा.
This energy can be utilized for real self-interest if one is compassionate. A person in Krishna consciousness, a devotee of the Lord, is always compassionate. He is not satisfied that only he himself is a devotee, but he tries to distribute the knowledge of devotional service to everyone. There are many devotees of the Lord who face many risks in distributing the devotional service of the Lord to people in general. That should be done. It is also said that a person who goes to the temple of the Lord and worships with great devotion, but who does not show sympathy to people in general or show respect to other devotees, is considered to be a third-class devotee. The second-class devotee is he who is merciful and compassionate to the fallen soul. The second-class devotee is always cognizant of his position as an eternal servant of the Lord. He therefore makes friendships with the devotees of the Lord, acts compassionately toward the general public in teaching them devotional service, and refuses to cooperate or associate with non-devotees. As long as one is not compassionate to people in general in his devotional service to the Lord, he is a third devotee. The first class devotee gives evidence to every living being that there is no fear of this material existence. Let us live in Krishna consciousness and conquer the
Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. So Kanishta Adhikari has no compassion for other devotees. So ये कनिष्ठ मध्यम ये क्राइटेरिया क्या है इसका कनिष्ठ मध्यम और उत्तम का व्हाट इज द क्राइटेरिया how we classify the devotees in these three names are in all books. The criteria, what are the criteria? हाँ श्रद्धा अनुस्वारी उत्तम मध्यम श्रद्धा किसके ऊपर श्रद्धान शास्त्र शास्त्र निपुण उत्तम शास्त्र श्रद्धा कम कनिष्ठ मध्यम इन बिटवीन सो श्रद्धा अनुस्वारी उत्तम मध्यम कनिष्ठ श्रद्धा ऑन द स्क्रिप्चर दिस इज द वन वे टू क्लासिफाई देम और दूसरा क्राइटेरिया आदो श्रद्धा से लेके प्रेम तक this yardstick from before Ado Shraddha till Anarth Nivarti is Kanishta. Anarth Nivarti to Ashakti is Madhyam. And Bhav and Prem is Uttam. General. This is a general rule. So most of the devotees are in Anarth Nivarti. They are at a Kanishta stage. Madhyam. Prabhupada said we have to come to Madhyam at least. And Madhyam has 4 characteristics. What are these 4? Ishwareshu, Prem, Maitri with the devotees, compassion to the innocent, and indifference to the... This is the Madhyam. At least one should come to this. It is indicated here that the Kardam Muni was directed by the Lord to be very compassionate and liberal in his householder life and to give assurance to the people in his renounced life. A sannyasi, one in the renounced art of life, is meant to give enlightenment to the people. He should travel going from home to enlighten. The householder, by the spell of Maya, become absorbed in a family affair and forget his relationship with Krishna. If he dies in forgetfulness, like the cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. It is the duty of a sannyasi, therefore, to go and awaken the forgetful soul with enlightenment of their eternal relationship with the Lord and to engage them in devotion. The devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and also give them the assurance of fearlessness. As soon as one becomes devotee of the Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. Therefore, what has he to do with the fearfulness? To award fearlessness to common man is the greatest act of charity. Greatest act of charity is to make people? How? Bhajahure mano abhay charanaravindre. You can make people fearless by simply making them to Bhajahure mano Sri Nandana. Just if they serve Krishna, they become fearless. Very simply. Very simply. To make people fearless is to make them always think of Krishna. A sannyasi or one who is in the renounced order. The other places, what is the best charity? In nectar of instruction, what is the Dadati principle? What is the singular, most important Dadati principle to give? Holy name. Dadati principle is holy name. So here, same thing. You make the people fearless by giving holy name. Same thing. हाँ क्या 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 कह रहा
कम्युनिकेशन वाले ना
अन्नदान या भूमि दान अन्नदान स्वर्ण दान, they are all good, but the holy name is the best दान. That is actually written in Nectar of Instruction. Prabhupada says the best charity is to give holy name to the people. But best Dadati principle. Then Prabhupada is giving a person who is a householder but is initiated by the sannyasi has the duty to spread Krishna consciousness at home as far as possible. He should call his friends and neighbors to his house and hold classes in Krishna consciousness. Holding a class means chanting holy name of the Krishna and speaking about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. There are immense literature for spreading Krishna consciousness. It is the duty of each and every householder to learn about Krishna from his sannyasi spiritual master. There is a division of the labors in this large service. The householder's duty is to earn money because the sannyasi is not supposed to earn money but is completely dependent on the householder. Now householders are dependent on sannyasis. Things have changed something. %, where is that? The householder should earn money by business or by profession and spend at least 50% of his income to spread Krishna consciousness. 25% he can spend for his family and 25% he should save to meet emergencies. This example was shown by Rupa Goswami. Actually, one with the Supreme Lord does not imply becoming a great as the Supreme Lord. It's impossible. Part never become equal. Again, Mayavad, defeating Mayavadi. Living entity is always a minute part. Therefore, his oneness with Lord is that he is interested in the one interest of the Lord. The Lord wants every living entity to always think about him, to be his devotee. Man mana bhavmat bhakto bhadyaji mam namaskuru. Okay? Krishna wants everyone always to think of him. Everyone should always offer obeisance to Krishna. Okay, this is the simple thing. The Lord wants to fulfill his desires unlimitedly, and devotees also serve him to fulfill unlimited desires. There is an unlimited oneness of interest between Lord and his devotees. Chakravarti Pad writes, showing mercy as a householder by giving food, clothing, and wealth to the jivas. As a sannyasi, you will then give fearlessness to the jiva by giving teaching and bhakti. So Kardam Lord is saying, first, as a grasta, you give charity. And then when you become sannyasi, then you preach. Okay. At the present, you know by the vision of scripture that the whole world, along with yourself, reside within me, the Supreme Lord. Then, however, you will directly realize this. First, you will see me in the form of first Purusha, with 1,000 heads, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. This is the, and you will see 1,000 of universe in my hairs, hair holes, along with yourself. Now you know me as the Antaryami existing in yourself. Some yogi meditate upon the Paramatma, measuring one Pradesh, who is residing in the heart within the body, and who holds the lotus wheel conchal club in his 4 hands. But then you will directly see me as the third Purusha, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. I will show you all things created and uncreated. Or there is another meaning. You will see in my child form the universe along with Yashoda. And you will see me in yourself as gopis did. Tan kaschan netraha randhena hirde kirtva nimilya. One gopi took the Lord through the aperture of her eyes and placed him within the heart. Then with her eyes closed and her bodily hair standing on end, she continuously embracing him within. Thus immersed in transcendental ecstasy, she resembled a yogi meditating upon the Lord. 10:22:8. So what Kardam Muni is advised that he can see 3 Purusha. First the universal form, Sahasra Purusha. Then the Paramatma form, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Antaryami form. So this is last verse of the Kardams. Lord spoke to Kardam. Saha aham swan sakalaya tvadaviryena mahamune tava kshetre dehutyayam pranyeshe tattva sanktam. O great sage, I will manifest my own plenary portion through your wife Devuti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principle or categories. Herein the word Swans Kalaya indicate that Lord would appear as the son of Devuti and Kardam Muni as Kapil Dev. The first propounder of the Sankhya philosophy, which is mentioned here as Tattva Sahanta. So एक और नाम क्या है कपिल देव की फिलॉसफी का? तत्व संहिता. और भागवत को कौन सी संहिता कहते हैं? सात्वत संहिता. सात्वत संहिता. सात्वत का मतलब होता है भक्त. भक्तों के लिए भागवत सात्वत संहिता. Okay. The Lord foretold to Kardam Muni that he would appear in his incarnation Kapil Dev and would propagate the philosophy of Sankhya. Sankhya philosophy is very well known in the world as propagated by the another Kapil Dev. But that Sankhya philosophy is different from the Sankhya which was propounded by the Lord himself. There are two kinds of Sankhya philosophy. One is godless Sankhya philosophy, another is godly Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhya propagated by the Kapil Dev, son of Devhuti, is godly Sankhya philosophy. There are different manifestations of Lord. He is one, but he has become many. He divides himself into two different expansion, one called Kala and other called Vibhinansa. Kala and Vibhinansa. Ordinary living entities are Vibhinansa, expansion. Unlimited expansion of the Vishnu Tattva, such as Vaman, Govind, Narayan, Pradyumna, Vasudev, Ananta are called Swansa Kala. Swans refer to direct expansion and Kala denotes an expansion from the expansion of the original Lord. Baldev is an expansion of Krishna, and from Baldev the next expansion is Sankarshan. Thus Sankarshan is Kala. But Baldev is swans. There is no difference, however, among them. This is very nicely explained in the Brahma Santa. Deeparachir eva dashantaram abhyupetaya. With one candle one can. तो ये आप जानते हैं. और क्या है? So क्या पढ़ रहे हैं? क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं? What we are discussing? So which is the other Kapila? कभी कहीं पढ़ा है? हमेशा कहते हैं एक कपिल, नास्तिक कपिला, एक साई. वो है कौन सा कपिला? ढूंढो तो सही उसको. वो कपिल कौन सा है पता करो उसको. ये क्रिकेट वाला तो नहीं है कपिल देव. हाँ, सबको बेवकूफ बना गया. कौन सा कपिल? किसी कभी सुना कभी? हाँ, that is this कपिला. हाँ, तो कपिल जो सिक्स फिलॉसफी वाला कपिल है वो दूसरा है. जो हम एमए फिलॉसफी में पढ़ते हैं जो ये नहीं है. किसी मैंने पूछा था, मैंने हमने मिले ही नहीं उस कपिल से कभी. प्रभुपाद ने लिखा है लेकिन कभी बताया नहीं दूसरे कपिल के बारे में. अच्छा, अब बलदेव हो गया. Civil, there is no difference between the immediate expansion of Lord and his secondary expansion. ये तो ठीक है. There is no potential difference between the form of Lord whom we worship and form of Lord in the temple. One should not think that one is the worshipping a doll or a statue of Lord, even if other consider it to be a statue. Because there is not potential difference, one gets the same result by worshipping the statue of Lord or Lord himself. This is the science of Krishna consciousness. क्या समझ में आया? डीडी वर्शिप के 3 स्टेज हैं. एक भौतिक है, जैसे दिस इज कॉल्ड, व्हाट इज कॉल्ड, भौतिक, लाइक आइडल वर्शिप. दूसरा है ज्ञानी वाला, इमेजिनरी वर्शिप. वी इमेजिन दिस इज गॉड. गॉड इज डिफरेंट, बट दिस इज इमेजिनरी गॉड. ये किसका है? ज्ञानियों का, डिवोटी का. ही इज गॉड. ये डीटी ही गॉड है. देयर इज नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन डीटी एंड गॉड. सो देयर आर 3 इस तरह. आइडल वर्शिप, इमेजिनेशन वर्शिप एंड real worship. Bhakti Vinod has used 3 other words for that. 3 other words are for that. किसी ने पढ़ा है? याद है किसी को? Now the next section 33 to 37. Idol worship is for materialistic. The Lord departs and Swambhu Manu arrives. Okay, this is this section, small section. Okay. Bhagavan Pratyagya Akshaja. Maitreya went on. Thus, having spoken to Kardam Muni, the Lord, who reveals himself only when the senses are in Krishna consciousness, departed from that lake called Bindu Sarovar, which was encircled by river Saraswati. So here this word is Bhagavan Pratyag Akshaj. Akshaj means senses. And Pratyag means directly. So evam tan ambuja aksha atha Bhagavan Pratyag Akshaj Jagam Bindu Sarahasa Saraswatyaha Parishruto. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada writes, one word in this verse is very significant. Lord is stated here to be Pratyaga Akshaj. He is imperceptible to material senses, but still he can be seen. This appears to be contradictory. We have material senses, but how can we see the Supreme Lord? He is called Adhokshaja, which means that he cannot be seen by material senses. Akshaj means knowledge perceived by material senses. Because Lord is not an object that can be understood by speculation with our mental senses, he is also called Ajit. He will conquer, but then that still he can be seen. It is explained that no one can hear the transcendental name of the Krishna, no one can understand his transcendental form, and no one can assimilate his transcendental pastime. It is not possible. Then how is it possible that he can be seen and understood? When one is trained in devotional service and renders service unto him, gradually one's senses are purified of material contamination. When one's senses are thus purified, then one can see, one can understand, and one can hear, and so on. The purification of material senses and perception of the transcendental form, name, quality of Krishna are combined together in one word, Pratyak Akshaj, which is used here. Pratyak means in front, Akshaj means of the senses. So, when can we see the Lord? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva. So, if our senses are immersed in love of God, then we can see the same deity can talk. Prabhupada says, our Rasa Bihari talk with you. Radha Rasa Bihari can reciprocate with you. If your senses are purified, then you can correspond with them. You can communicate with them. Yes. So, Lord can be seen only by the purified senses. आपको मालूम है भाई, पुजारी जब मंदिर में जाते हैं तो एक विधि है, उसको क्या कहते हैं? भूत शुद्धि. क्या कहते हैं? सुना है ना, भूत शुद्धि. उसका अर्थ है कि हम बॉडी कंसेप्ट से बाहर जाते हैं, उसका इंद्रियों को प्यूरिफाई अंदर करके जाना पड़ता है. हम ये शरीर लेके नहीं जाते हैं अंदर. प्यूरिफाई तो भगवान को देख सकते हैं. इसका मतलब अंदर जाके भगवान को देखने के लिए भी हमको भूत को शुद्धि करनी पड़ती है. इसका मतलब हम भूत हैं, हमको शुद्ध करना पड़ेगा. Okay, next. Pratyak Aksha means Lord who appeared to Kardam's eyes. He departed from the hermitage surrounded by the Saraswati. Next. While the sage stood looked on, the Lord left by the pathway leading to Vaikuntha, a path extolled by all great liberated souls. The sage stood listening as the hymns forming the basis of the Shama Ved, Lord's carrier Garuda. गरुड़ के विंग्स से साम वेद की ऋचाओं का आवाज आता है. वो सुन रहा था और वैकुंठ के रास्ते से भगवान जा रहे थे. उस रास्ते से बहुत से लोग वैकुंठ जाते हैं. That's what it means, right? Okay. In the Vedic literature, it is stated that the two wings of the transcendental bird Garuda, who carried the Lord everywhere, are two divisions of the Samveda known as Brat Sam and Rathantar, Rathantar. Brahta matlab big and Rathantar. Garuda works as the carrier of the Lord, therefore he is considered the transcendental prince of all carriers. With his two wings, Garuda began to vibrate the Shama Veda, which is chanted by the great sages to pacify the Lord. Lord is worshipped by the Brahma, by Lord Shiva, by Garuda and other demigods with selected poems, and great sages worship him with the hymns of Vedic literature such as Upanishad and Shama Veda. These Shama Veda utterances are automatically heard by the devotees when another devotee, great devotee of the Lord, Garuda flap his wings. It is clearly stated here that the sage Kardam began to look to the path by which the Lord was being carried to Vaikuntha. It is thus confirmed that the Lord descends from his abode, Vaikuntha, in the spiritual sky and is carried by Garuda. The path which leads to the Vaikuntha is not worshipped by the ordinary class of transcendentalists. Only those who are already liberated from material bondage can become devotees of Lord, and those who are not liberated, transcendental devotional service. इसको कहीं से श्लोकों से सपोर्ट कर सकते हो जो बोला जा रहा है? Can you support with some? Those who are materially liberated can only practice devotional service. 18वें अध्याय में ब्रह्मा भूता प्रसन्नात्मान सोचति न कांक्षति समसर्वेषु भूतेषु लभते भक्तिम पराम. Only after liberation the pure devotional service is started. ये लिखा जा रहा है, दिख रहा है? Now is it clear? But there is no liberation. They are not free. This is the proper verse, Brahmbhuta. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated, Yadatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvata 7.3. And in Brahma Santa 4.30.32 are Siddha. Only Siddha, or a person liberated from material bondage, can become devotee. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who is engaged in Krishna consciousness was already liberated from the influence of the modes of material nature. Here it is also confirmed that the path of devotional service is worshipped by a liberated person, not the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul cannot understand the devotional service of the Lord. Kardam Muni was a liberated soul who saw the Supreme Lord in a person, face to face. There was no doubt that he was liberated. And thus he could see Garuda carrying the Lord on the way to Vaikuntha and hear the flapping of his wings, vibrating sound of Hare Krishna, essence of the Sam Veda. While Kardam watched the Lord who is the path Vaikuntha, Siddha Marga, listened to all the verses of the Vedas, Stomam, being chanted by the wings of the Garuda, manifesting as Sham or song. Stuti says, Braddaha, Artha Antaraha, Prathau, Pakshau. The Brada and Rathantara, Sham, are the wings. Okay, next. 35. अथ संप्रसत्यते शुक्ले कर्दमो भगवान ऋषिः आसते संबिंदो सरसि तमकालम प्रतिपायम्. Then after the departure of Lord, the worshipped sage Kardam stayed at the bank of Bindu Sandana Asthaya Satakaumbaha Parichaddam Aropya Swam Dohetram Sabharyaha Prayanta Mahim. Swayambhu Manu with his wife mounted his chariot, which was decorated with golden ornaments. Pressing Zara on it with them, he began traveling all over the earth. But the Emperor Manu, as the great ruler of the world, could have engaged an agent to find a suitable husband for her, his daughter. But because he loved her just as the father should do, he himself left his estate on golden chariot with only his wife to find her a suitable husband. और कोई था ही नहीं तो किसको ले जाएगा? ये ऐसी शादी है जिसकी बारात नहीं थी, कोई पंडाल नहीं लगा था, खर्चा हुआ ही नहीं था, जीरो बजट शादी है. Okay, 37. Tasmin Suddavan Ahani Bhagavan Yat Samadisha Upayadashram Padam Muneyashanta Vrtasyata. O Vidur, they reached the hermitage of the sage who had just completed his vow of austerity on the very day foretold by the Lord, day after tomorrow. Okay? Tasmin Sudmanam Ahani Bhagavan Yat Samadhishtah Ashnapadam Muneha Shanta Vartasya Cha. So, oh, best among the warriors, कौन सा word है ये? विदुर. Swadhanvan, Swadhanvan. Boss, Dhanvan means having a bow. Okay. Verse 38 to 44, description of Bindu Sarovar. इतना तो कर लेना अभी, बाकी बचेंगे कुछ वर्सेस. मेरे 57 56 या 7 है, इतना कर लेते हैं फिर देखेंगे. ठीक है. यस्मिन् भगवतो नेत्राम व्यपतन अश्रुहो बिंदवः कृपया संपरितस्य प्रपन्ने अर्पितया भृशम् तद्वै बिन्दुसरो नाम सरस्वत्याः परिप्लुतम् पुण्यः शिवामृतजलम् महर्षि गणसेवितम्. The holy lake Bindu Sarovar, flooded by the water of the river Saraswati, was restored by a host of eminent sages. Its holy water was not only auspicious, but as sweet as nectar. It was called Bindu Sarovar because drops of tear had fallen there from the eyes of the Lord, who was overwhelmed by the extreme compassion for the sage who had sought his protection. So, कुछ लोग इस प्रसंग को लेके, some people used to say, भगवान ने देखा कि इतनी तपस्या के बाद भी शादी करना चाह रहा है, इसलिए भगवान की आंखों से आंसू आ गए. लेकिन ये सच नहीं है, क्योंकि भगवान ने भी शादी की है. नहीं, उसकी ऑस्टेरिटीज को और उसके फादर के आर्डर, ब्रह्मा के आर्डर को फॉलो करने में उसकी डिटर्मिनेशन को देख के भगवान के हृदय में दया आ गई. ये वैष्णव मत है. आई थिंक राधेश्याम प्रभु ने ये प्रश्न पूछा था गौर कृष्ण महाराज से, तो गौर कृष्ण महाराज ने इसके ऊपर बहुत डिटेल से कहा है. कर्दम मुनि obliging to the order of Brahma is authority, so therefore he was not at fault. और भगवान जिसके घर में अवतार लेना चाहते हैं तो उसके लिए ग्रस्त में जाने में कोई आपत्ति नहीं है. सो कुछ लोग कहते हैं भगवान को आंसू आ गए, वो रॉन्ग इंटरप्रिटेशन है. ठीक है. Tear from the eyes of the Lord, overcome with compassion for the surrendered soul, Kardam fell in that lake. Because the lake was mixed with the tears of the Lord, it was called Bindu Sarovar. Filled with the waters of the Saraswati, it was pure, auspicious, sweet, and worshipped by the great sages. Purport. Kardam underwent austerities to gain the causeless mercy of Lord, And when the Lord arrived there, he was so compassionate that in pleasure he shed tears, which became Bindu Sarovar. Bindu Sarovar therefore is worshipped by the great sages and learned scholars because, according to the philosophy of the absolute truth, the Lord and tears of his eyes are non-different. Just as drops of perspiration which fell from the toes of the Lord become sacred Ganges, so teardrops from the transcendental eyes of the Lord become Bindu Sarovar. Both are transcendental entities and are worshipped by the great sages and scholars. The water of the Bindu Sarovar is described here as a Shiva Amrit Jal. Shiva means curing. Anyone who drinks the water of Bindu Sarovar is cured of all material disease. Similarly, anyone who takes his bath in the Ganges also is relieved of all material diseases. These claims are accepted by great scholars and authorities and are still being acted upon even this fallen age of Kali. 7 verses describe the hermitage, the surrendered soul, Parpane was Kadama. Okay. So in these 7 verses, there is a description of Bindu Sarovar. Punya Drummalata Jalai Kujad Punya Mrga Dvijahi Sarvato Palaha Pushpadhyam Vanaraji Shriyanivitam. Shore of the lake was surrounded by the cluster of pious trees and creepers, rich in fruits and flowers of all seasons, that afforded shelter to pious animals and birds which uttered various cries. It was adorned by the beauty of the groves, forest trees. Purport. It is stated here that Bindu Sarovar was surrounded by pious trees and birds. As there are different classes of men in human society, some pious and virtuous and some impious and sinful, so also among the trees and birds there are pious and impious. Trees which do not bear nice fruits or flowers are considered impious, and the birds which are very nasty, such as crows, are considered impious. In the land surrounding Bindu Sarovar was not a single impious bird or tree. Every tree bore fruits and flowers, and every bird sang the glories of Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. 41. Madadvejaha gunai gushtam Madabrahmara vibharamam Madabrahi natatopam Ahavayam matako kilam. The area surrounded with the notes of the overjoyed birds, intoxicated bees wandered there, intoxicated peacocks proudly dancing and merry, cuckoos called one another. The beauty of the pleasant sound heard in the area surrounded Lake Bindu Sarovar is described here. After drinking honey, the black bees become maddened and they hummed in intoxication. Merry peacock danced just like actors and actresses, and merry cuckoos called their mates very nicely. Verse 42 and 43. Okay, let's read the translation. Lake Bindu Sarovar was adorned by flowering trees such as Kadamba, Champaka, Ashoka, Karanja, Bakula, Asana, Kunda, Mandara, Kuttaj, and young mango trees. They are all pious trees. The air was filled with the pleasing notes of the Karandava ducks, Palvas, swan, ospreys, waterflows, cranes, chakravaks, and cuckoos. They are the pious birds. Pious trees and pious bird. For the most of the trees, flowers, fruits, and birds mentioned are as surrounding Bindu Sarovar lake. English synonym cannot be found. All the trees mentioned are very pious in that they produce a nice aromatic flower such as champak, kadam and bakul. The sweet sounds of waterfowl and cranes made the surrounding area as pleasant as possible and created a very suitable spiritual atmosphere. Verse 44, the end of this Bindu Sarovar description. Okay. तथैव हरिणैः क्रोधैः श्वाविदः गव्यः कुञ्जरैः गोपूचैः हरिभिर्महकैः नकुलैर्नाभिभिवृतम्. Its shores abound with deers, boars, porcupines, gavyas, elephants, bamboos, lions, monkeys, mongooses, and musk deer. Okay, musk deer are not found in every forest, but only in places like Bindu Sarovar. They are always intoxicated by the aroma of the musk secreted from their navels. Gavayas, the species of the cow mentioned here in Gava, bear a bunch of hair at the end of their tails. This bunch of hair is used in temple as worship as a fan. They are called which cows? Gavayas. They are called chamri cows. Chamri cows. Gavayas are mentioned called chamris, and they are considered very sacred. In India, there are still gypsies or forest mercantile people who flourish by trading kasturi or musk and the bunches of the hair from the chamris. They are always in great demand for the higher class of Hindu population, and this is social purport. The animals are there described. Kroda means boar. Swavit is a porcupine. Marka is a monkey. Gopucha is another type of monkey. Hari is a lion. Nabi is a musk deer. Anyway, so last this session, Kardam received Manu, 45-49. Okay, this is a whole bunch of verses together. We read this. Praveshya tattiratvaram Adi Rajah Sahatmajah Dadarsha Munim Asinam Tasmin Hutta Hutasanam Vidya Utamanam Vipavapushua Tapase Ugraha Yujachiram Nati Kshamam Bhagavataha Snagdha Payagavo Lokanat Tadavyarta Mrittakala Pyushaha Shravanena Cha Pranshum Padam Palakshaksham Jatilam Chiram Vasasam Upasamshrutyaha Nalinam Malinam Yatha Aharanam Asamskritam. Entering that most sacred spot with his daughter and going near the sage, first monarch Swayambhu Manu saw the sage sitting in his hermitage, having just propitiated the sacred fire by pouring oblation into it. His body shone most brilliantly, though he had engaged in austere penance for a long time. He was not emaciated, for the Lord had cast his affectionate sidelong glance upon him. And he had also heard the nectar flowing from the moon-like words of the Lord. The sage was tall, his eyes were large, like the petal of the lotus, and he had matted locks on his head. He was clad in rags. Swayambhu Manu approached and saw him to be somewhat soiled like an unpolished gem. Purport. Here is some description of Brahmachari Yogi. In the morning, the first duty of Brahmacharis, seeing spiritual elevation, is Hutta Hutasana, to offer sacrificial oblation to the Supreme Lord. Those engaged in Brahmacharya cannot sleep until 7 or 9 o'clock in the morning. They must rise early in the morning, at least 1.5 hours before the sunrise, and offer oblation, or in this age, they must chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, as referred to by Lord Chaitanya. Kalau nasti 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 eva gatiranatha. There's no other alternate. Okay. The brahmachari must rise early in the morning and after placing himself should chant the holy name. After placing himself should chant the holy name of Lord from the very feature of the sage. It appeared that he had undergone great austerities. That is a sign of one observing brahmacharya, the vow of celibacy. If one lives otherwise, it will be manifest in the lust visible in his face and body. The word vidyotamanam indicate that brahmachari features shown in his body. That is the certificate that one has undergone great austerity in yoga. A drunkard or a smoker or sex monger can never be eligible to practice yoga. Generally, yogi look very skinny because of their not being comfortably situated. But Kardam Muni was not emaciated, for the Lord has seen the Supreme Personality, for he had seen the Supreme Personality of God face to face. Here the word snigdha, apanga, avalokanat means that he was fortunate enough to see the Supreme Lord face to face. He looked healthy because he had directly received the nectarian sound vibration from the lotus lips of person. Similarly, one who hears the transcendent sound vibration of holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, also improves in the health. We have actually seen that many brahmachari and grasthas connected with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness have improved in health, and luster has come to their face. It is essential that brahmachari engaged in spiritual advancement look very healthy and lustrous. The comparison of the sage to an unpolished gem is very appropriate. Even if a gem just taken from a mine looks unpolished, the luster of the gem cannot be stopped. Similarly, although Kardam was not properly dressed and his body was not properly cleansed, his overall appearance was gem-like. Okay. Now, verse number 48. O Krishna, seeing that monarch had come to his hermitage and was bowing before him, the sage greeted him with benediction and received him with the due honor. So who offered the obeisance first? Why? He is a Kshatri and Kardam was a Brahman, so it is his duty. Okay? And both are son of Brahma. So Banu is son of Brahma, Kardam is son of Manu. But because he was a Brahman, okay, right? Emperor Swayambhu Manu not only approached the cottage of the dried leaves possessed by the hermit Kardam, but also offered respectful obeisance unto him. Similarly, it was the duty of the hermit to offer blessing to king who used to approach his hermitage in a jungle. Uttajan means leaf hut. Manu offered respect at his feet, Pura. The sage received Manu who was touched with his feet with a suitable worship. That means he raised him up and embraced him after giving him a blessing. The king said, "Today I have been successful because I met in person the form of powerful austerity." The sage responded by praising him, "O king, today I am seeing you endowed with the power to protect the universe by Lord." I think these are the next verses. Verse number 49, last of this section. Graitaranamasinam samyatam pranayan munihi sumran bhagavadadesham iti aha shalakshanya gira. After receiving the sage's attention, the king sat down and was silent, recalling the instruction of the Lord. Kardam then spoke to the king as follows, delighting him with his sweet accents. After washing his feet, means Kardam's feet, the king sat on the seat of kush grass and received flowers, sandalwood, durva grass and fruits. The hermit, he remained silent. Verse 50 to 56, Kardam glorifies great King Manu. The tour you have undertaken, O Lord, is surely intended to protect the virtuous and kill the demons, since you embodied the protecting energy of Sri Hari. What is protecting energy of Sri Hari? Hare Shakti iti Palini. Okay. It appears from many Vedic literatures, especially histories like Srimad Bhagavatam and Puranas, that the pious kings of the old used to tour their kingdom in order to give protection to the pious citizen and to chastise or kill the impious. Sometimes they used to kill animals in the forest to practice the killing art, because without such practice they would not be able to kill the undesirable elements. Kshatriyas are allowed to commit violence in that way, because violence for a good purpose is part of their duty. Here two terms are clearly mentioned: vadhaya, for the purpose of killing, and astam, those who are undesirable. Asatam. Satam means devotee, asatam means non-devotees. The protecting energy of the king is supposed to be energy of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 4.18, the Lord says, Paritrana sadhunam. So, Brahman is called Bhudev and king is called Nardeva. So the teaching of the Supreme Lord are executed by Brahmanas as a Bhudev and king as a Nardev. So they are the ruler on the earth. So they have to execute the order of the Supreme Lord, and the order is to protect the pious and annihilate the demons. Now Srila Prabhupada writes, modern head of the state sit very nicely in their palace and try without reason to kill innocent person. It means modern leader, nobody goes in the public to protect the pious and annihilate the demons. So they are armchair kings. Verse number 51. You assume, when necessary, the part of the sun god, moon god, Agni, god of the fire, Indra, lord of the paradise, Vayu and wind god, Yama, the god of the punishment, Dharma, the god of piety, and the Varuna, the god of presiding over the waters, all obeisance to you, who are none other than Lord Vishnu. What is this? यो अरकिन्दिः अग्नेन्द्रः वायुयान् यन्म प्रशते रूपाणि स्थानाधीश्यते तस्मै शुक्लायते नमः. I offer respect to you, a pure being, who suitably take the form of sun, moon, fire, Indra, Vayu, Yam, Dharma and Varuna. Since the sage Kardam was a Brahman and Swayambhu Manu was a Kshatriya, the sage was not supposed to offer obeisance to the king, because socially his position was greater than king. But he offered his obeisance to Swayambhu Manu because the Manu, king and emperor, he was the representative of Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is always worshipable, regardless of whether one is a Brahman, Kshatriya or Shudra. As the representative of the Lord, Supreme Lord, the king is reserved respectful obeisance from everyone. So in king's body, there is he is a Bhudeva. So he is a Lord represented on the earth. Any example where the king was respected, even he was Sanatan Goswami, when he received the Nawab Hussain Shah, he gave him all respect when he came to his house, where the purport says, even king may be Muslim, but he is representing God, therefore we should respect him. So he respected the Manu by saying, all the demigods are residing in you. You are their representative. ओ बाबा ये लगा है फिर भी ये नहीं लगा है मर गया कनेक्शन कहाँ है हाँ हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा वो कहाँ से आया इसमें नहीं है वो पहले वाला पढ़ा है Hare Krishna. We have to finish chapter at least. Few verses only. अरे दूसरा ऑपरेशन करना पड़ेगा क्या ये इसका ये बीमारी यहाँ है चालू यहाँ से होगा वो देखो लगा है ठीक हो कृष्ण वो कहाँ से आ रहा है ये तो यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं है बंद करें एक बार स्क्रीन एक बार खराब हुआ था दुबई गया था नया लग के आया था हो सकता है मर गया हूँ बंद होता है ना यहाँ पे चलता है इस पे हैंडल अब आ गया इधर इसके थ्रू हैंडल कर सकते हैं
नहीं आ गया ना
अब आ गया?
तो सो गया था।
नहीं वो लिट क्लोज करके ओपन किया
क्या हुआ?
बैटरी तो 100% है।
100% तो बंद कैसे हो गया? इतना देर चल नहीं पाता, ये थक गया, ये थक गया, कुछ भक्त भाग गए। लगता है by the end I finished this, maybe I remained alone. Hare Krishna. You completely accept the form of the sun and others in a suitable way. You are the sun because of your majesty. You are the moon because of your fame. You are कहाँ गया? You are Indra because of your invisibility. You are Indra because of your lordship. You are Vayu because of you enter. ये पूरा नहीं आ रहा है इसमें. हाँ हो गया okay. Anyway, therefore, so this Kardama is offering respect to Swayambhu Manu as representative of Supreme Lord. Now, the verse number 24, 52, 54. Na yada rathamaasthaya Jaitram mani ganarpitam Vispuraja chandako dando Rathena tarasayan aghan Swasenya charnaha kushnam Vepayan mandalam bhuvoh Vikrashan bhrattim senam Paryashtayasya anshumanaiva Tadaiva setavah sarve Varnashram nibandhanaha Bhagavad rachita rajan Vibhedaran battha dasyo bhi. If you did not mount your victorious jeweled chariot, whose mere presence threatens culprits, if you did not produce fiery sounds by the twanging of your bows, and you did not roam about the world like the brilliant sun, leading a huge army, whose trampling feet cause the globe of the earth to tremble, then all the moral laws governing the Varna and ashram created by the Lord himself would be broken by the rogues and rascals. It is the duty of a responsible king to protect the social, spiritual, and spiritual order in the human society. Spiritual orders are Brahmacharya Grastavan, पर social orders are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya. We know this, okay? Most advanced human society was known as Arya. Arya referred to those who are advancing. So the question is, which society is advancing? Advancement does not mean creating material necessities unnecessarily and thus wasting human energy in aggravation. There is problem with this screen. No? There is problem. It shake ho raha hai. Just known as Aryan civilization, intelligent man and Brahman, exemplified by Kardam Muni, were engaged in advancing the spiritual cause, and Kshatriya like Emperor Swayambhu Manu used to rule the country and ensure that all the facilities for spiritual reaction were necessarily provided, nicely provided. It's duty of king. This is called The Brahma Tej and Kshatriya Tej, if they work together, there will be peace and prosperity in the kingdom and society and world. So Kshatriya Tej is king and Brahma Tej is the saintly people. So the both are missing in a present time, so there is a problem in a modern world. In Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarna Maya Srishtam, so Prabhupada is speaking about Varna Ashram. I think you know, if there is any special point to discuss, we can discuss. So he just say, if the kings don't do like that, then there will be a trouble. So you are already doing this, so you are very good king. 55. स्क्रीन में बनाया तो है उसने, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम है, स्क्रीन में प्रॉब्लम है, वो शेकी है।
प्रभुजी इसको ना थोड़ी देर बंद कर देंगे ना, फिर चालू हो जाता है। मैं 2 साल से चला रहा हूँ ऐसे, ऐसा होता तो बंद कर देना पड़ता है।
बंद कर?
नहीं, शट डाउन
इधर से
नहीं, शट डाउन अभी चल जाएगा, 5-7 मिनट तो चल जाएगा ये। नहीं, मतलब पूरा स्क्रीन लैपटॉप को शट डाउन कर देना।
बनाने के बाद मर गया।
नहीं, ऐसा मेरे में भी हो रहा है, मेरा भी ऐसा ही हो रहा है, स्क्रीन खराब हो रहा है।
एक आदमी की भैंस बीमार हो गई थी, दूसरे ने कहा इसको पेट्रोल पिला दो ठीक हो जाएगी। पेट्रोल पिलाया, मर गई। बोला क्यों? आपने बोला मेरा आपने कहा पेट्रोल पिलाया। बोला मैंने भी पिलाया था। बोला क्या हुआ? बोला मेरी भी मर गई। तो ये कहता मेरा भी मर गया, तुम्हारा भी मर गया।
चलेगा जिंदा है।
एनीवे, इसका मतलब नया कंप्यूटर बदलना पड़ेगा भाई।
नहीं चलेगा, आराम से 2 साल।
आपके पास है ये मटेरियल? आपको दिया था?
आपने
दिया था पहले। नहीं, सबको दे दो भाई, काम का है तो सबके काम का है। नहीं, मैं तो थोड़े दिन में ख़राब हो गया तो इसी को यूज़ करता हूँ।
चलेगा।
55 अधर्मश्च समेधेत लोलोपहे व्यंकुशै निर्भयैः श्याने त्वयि लोको अयम् दस्यो ग्रस्तो विनक्ष्यति। ये आपके वर्ड्स थोड़े बड़े अच्छे हैं। If you gave up all thought of the world's situation, unrighteousness would flourish, for men who hanker only after money would be unopposed. Such miscreants would attack the world would perish. So, this is the duty of a king. Because the scientific division of the 4 Varna and 4 Ashram is now being extinguished, the entire world is being governed by unwanted men who have no training in religion, politics, or social order. And it is, in a very deplorable condition. The institution of 4 Varna and 4 Ashram are a regular training principle for the different classes of the men. Just as in the modern age, there is a necessity for engineer, medical practitioners, and electricians, and they are properly trained in different scientific institutions. Similarly, farmer tribes, the higher social order, namely intelligent class Brahmins, the ruling class Kshatriya, and the mercantile class Vaishyas were properly trained. Bhagavad Gita describes the duties of the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, Shudras. So what are the duties? We know this. Thus, society is now in chaos, and there is neither peace nor prosperity. It's clearly stated here that unless there is the vigilance of a strong king, impious, unqualified men will claim a certain status in society, and that will make the social order perish. So what do you think? In ISKCON, are we really following Varnashram? हम सिर्फ ब्राह्मण बना रहे हैं. I was thinking, The security, we are spending so much money on security. Why can't we train our own devotees as a Kshatriya? Usually the security, we think this is something low class like a Shudra, but they should be Kshatriya, more respected in the society. The whole system is completely crumbling because even we are not training anybody as a good Vaishya, as a good Kshatriya, as a good worker. No. Therefore it says, why everybody needs Brahmanical initiation? Actually, we should be trained properly. They can be all are Vaishnavas, but all Vaishnavas can act in a Devi Varnashram system. So we are lacking this system. 56. ये मेरा ऐसे चलता, ये भी चलता तो है. In spite of all this, I ask you, O valiant king, the purpose for which you have come here, whatever it may be, we shall carry it out without reservation. So king, why you came here, tell me, I'll oblige. When a guest comes to a friend's house, it is understood that there is some special purpose. Kardam Muni could understand that such a great king as Swayambhu Manu, although traveling to inspect the condition of his kingdom, must have had some special purpose to come to this hermitage, his hermitage. Thus he prepared himself to fulfill the king's desire. Formerly, it was customary that the sage used to go to the kings, and the kings used to visit the sages in their hermitages. Each was glad to fulfill other's purpose. This reciprocal relationship is called Bhakti Karya. There is a nice verse describing the relationship of the mutual beneficial interest between the Brahmanas and Kshatriya. Kshatraha Dvijatvam, Kshatra means the royal order, and the Dvijatam means Brahmanical order. The two were meant for mutual interest. The royal order would give protection to the Brahmins for the cultivation of spiritual advancement in society, and the Brahmins would give their valuable instruction to the royal order on how the state and the citizen can gradually be elevated in the spiritual perfection. So, Vyasadeva used to visit the Bhisham and Pandavas. So, Bhisham used to visit the Vyasadeva. They say Brahman and Kshatriya working together, things will all right. When there is no relation between the two, everything crumbles. Though I know in general why you come, I still ask why you come to my leaf hut. You will not become successful in quelling the sinful by coming here. I accept the reason in my heart, sincerely and joyfully. Somehow we finish this chapter. Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, one day